These Western countries have you fooled. It's a scam. Look at us. We don't have tax and we are thriving. Everyone here is rich, wealthy. The state is rich and wealthy.
You have a knife in every kitchen, so you ain't going to solve knife crime.
That guy that came and stabbed all of those kids the other day should get the death penalty 100%.
The UK is a better run country than the US. 3, 2, 1.
NHS in the UK.
Yeah, but that's a piece of shit. That's going privatised.
That's going to be privatised.
That's going privatised 100%. 25-year plan, you can dramatically reduce homelessness in this country. They've got billions of pounds, again, that they send off and they waste on stupid things. You put good money with smart people for 25 years, you can solve most of these problems, 100%.
Rich people already pay more tax. Because it's percentage-wise. If you earn more, pay 20%, then you're already paying more tax.
The UK should bring back the death penalty.
Oh, shit.
He needs to go through suffering. Yes, you need strict sentences, but he needs a life sentence.
When I first saw the thing about Donald Trump got shot or whatever, like in like the headlines and nothing had about the person dying. Someone died in the background and it was like a minuscule thing. I'm like, what?
We've really gone off of business, but you know what? Welcome back to another episode of the Multipliers Club. Now, I'm very hot and bothered today in my office. It's been a long day, so I'm in a bit of a mood. Today, we're going all out. First key message of the podcast, we're going controversial. Fuck it. Zoom in into that if you're on the YouTube. Men are men, women are women. Stick to your own lane, stick to your own sport. We don't usually talk about too many controversial things on a podcast or politics, but today, in the Olympics, you had the boxing situation. There's a whole load of other things that have been going on in the world.
It's just grated on
recently.
you, isn't it?
It's grated on me. I just had too much, mate. I'm fed up of the Western world, fed up of the UK, and it's just a joke, mate. So we're going to actually cover some of those topics today, and hopefully we don't get cancelled. But yeah, boys, what's your thoughts? First of all, start on the boxing thing, the Olympics, and in case anyone doesn't know what happened, you must be living under a rock. But this whole gender thing, they're letting men fight in the women's boxing in the Olympics. Within 40 seconds, a female athlete that had trained for her whole life to get to the Olympics has just got absolutely sparked out, fell to her knees, was crying, and then in the interview after said that she's never been hit so hard, basically.
It's just, I don't know how Tyson Fury gets away with being a female.
Yeah.
But no, I don't understand it, right? It's because, especially in the Olympics, we're not talking, it's not like sports day, you know what I mean? This is a serious thing.
Yeah,
like,
this is fucking for medals. Like, this is people dedicate their lives to it.
So
Yeah.
if you've got an unfair advantage, which they do, like they're proven to have higher testosterone levels, etc., like you've got an unfair advantage. How are you allowed to then fight someone you're going to win? Put them with the men.
Yeah, they should be allowed to still fight.
Yeah,
still
yeah,
fight.
100%.
Like,
yeah.
if you've done a change, you should still be allowed to fight as men. It's not that they shouldn't be able to compete. They absolutely should be able to. It's just
in your own category.
In your own category. If you was born as a man, just no matter what you identify as now, that doesn't matter. You can't go and just start sparking out women and say, oh, it's because I identify as a woman.
Mate,
now.
no, it's a fucking abuse.
It
like,
is, it's abuse.
You do that shit on the street, like
Yeah.
you're in prison.
Yeah, literally, you're brought up, you can't hit women, and now this guy's out knocking them out in front of the world, and they're trying to put him on a pedestal. Do you know
One
what
of
I mean?
them, there's two in the Olympics right now that have been accepted, and one of them actually got disallowed or disqualified from like a championship last year for
that's this guy.
failing the gender test.
Yeah,
so it's like,
yeah.
oh, but we're allowed.
What's
it
the
anyway.
other sport that the other person's been allowed to compete
I think
in?
it's two boxers.
Two boxers.
They
Why
had
is
it
it boxing
before-
as well?
they-
Why is it not like fucking javelin
Yeah.
where no one gets fucking hurt and it's just, it's not still not fair, but it's a little bit more
I know
acceptable.
They had it in swimming before as well, but it's just a joke, man. Do you know what it is? It's just this
Your
woke
genetics,
brigade.
that's what is like defines your gender, is your genetics.
You're like how
For
what you're born
sport.
with.
Yeah. For sport. That
Yeah.
is how your gender should be defined. If you want to define as something else, that's absolutely fine.
And should I say
But-
why we're talking about this on the podcast as well, right? Like I said, we usually won't talk about these sort of controversial topics. To be honest, even off camera, we don't talk too much about it. We're very much like everything's in our control, the life's in our control, we're accountable for things, and forget the outside noise, the politics. Come what may, we're going to make it happen ourselves. But I feel like recently, in the last week, you had the school situation with the stabbings of the kids. You had the Olympic situation of this. You've had, or a couple of weeks ago, you had the Donald Trump thing. There's so many things going on that I feel like you actually, if you agree on this side, like most normal people do, then you actually need to just speak out, talk about it, and almost fight back, because that's what it feels like. We're at war, some internal battle of the Western world, of this woke brigade trying to push this narrative of, you had the BBC News thing as well, that the BBC always try and cover up. So literally, it just seems like everyone that's in the limelight, mainstreams, either like some dodgy...
It is always negative in the
brigade.
news, isn't it? That's what sells. Bad news fucking sells.
Yeah, but it's like the BBC covering up for the presenter. They've done that multiple times.
Yeah, not specifically saying about that. I'm saying in general, like they're just going to report bad shit that's happening.
Yeah, but
in
they
the world.
don't report it. That's what I'm saying. They don't report this stuff. They try to cover it up and act as if it's...
Has
like,
ITV got on it and then reported it?
No,
Like
'cause
they're
they're all
just-
at
it was,
it. They look at like Philip Schofield on ITV. They try to cover him up for ages. Like,
yeah, they did.
What's his name? Hugh.
they're all...
Or whatever his name is. He was the presenter. He should have just presented himself today. News.
Yeah, it's mad. But then it comes a limit where it's like, oh my God, what on earth is going on? Like, it's actually...
The stabbing's mad as well. It was like a 17-year-old that
yeah.
started stabbing everyone up. But like the conspiracy theories are like they're saying that the higher powers are trying to create like a civil war between
that's
people.
the
They
word I
want
was looking
people
for, internal
arguing.
battle.
They want the groups to argue with the other groups and create like the civil.
That's how you...
I don't know.
That's
I
how
don't
you
know
create
whether
chaos,
that's-
isn't it? There's
yeah.
there's psychology behind that. That's why there'd be a conspiracy, whether that's true or not. But the psychology is when you create enough chaos, people turn against one another. So that's obviously... There's actually a film I've watched on that as well. But that's what they're doing, and they're doing a good job of it. And then out in America, which, you know, ultimately, yeah, we don't live in America, but we're America's little bitch. So whatever happens over there, it impacts us. You've got that... I don't even know what you describe Joe Biden as. Fucking... Probably as well.
I don't know how you're letting someone like that lead your country.
He's a zombie. Like, he doesn't even know what day of the week it is.
Yeah, he's just not well, unfortunately.
It's old, man.
Yeah, but again, the mainstream media out there, they don't talk about that at all. Like, until they literally have to. Whereas if it was a Donald Trump or someone, and he was acting, he even says one word wrong, and the whole mainstream is, get him out to be
They're
riots.
both as bad
and
as
so
each
on.
other, really. They ain't got any hope. They haven't got
I feel
any
like Donald
hope.
Trump's going to win it now
Mate,
because of the shot, because of him getting shot. That's going to win it.
Yeah, most likely will probably win it.
For the
yeah.
article the
is,
other
it
day.
is it Hillary Clinton?
Oh,
Is she?
mate.
Is she
She's
going back up
stepped
against
in.
him?
Criminal, mate.
Oh, really?
She stepped in, I think, to cover
It's all
Biden.
run by hard people anyways, isn't it? So it don't really matter.
Yeah, they're just a puppet master.
It's like the other day I saw on, I was telling you about it the other day on the newspaper, and it was like, Trump got shot, Biden died.
Yeah.
Very true.
It made
headline.
that was
The
sick.
headline. That photo was sick, though, isn't it? I'd probably take a bullet for that photo. That was
that-
fucking
I don't know how
sick.
they missed though. I don't know, like, you know what I mean? How can you get that close and kill somebody else as well?
I know, that's so bad. Rest in peace, those people.
Yeah,
Turn
100%. But
his
those
head
people didn't
down,
even
is
get. When I first saw the thing about Donald Trump got shot or whatever, like in like the headlines or nothing had about the person dying, like the other person dying.
No, you had
as
to
if they
search
as if they
for
didn't-
it.
As if they didn't matter. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I know Donald Trump got shot, but someone died in the background, and it was like a minuscule
Yeah.
thing. I'm like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
How's that fair?
Most of it weren't spoke about.
Yeah, his shares went up like 33%.
Who?
Donald
How the
Trump's
fuck did they go
company,
up?
they went up 33% like 2 days later because of it.
But mate, like, you had all these people now endorsing him. Like, Elon Musk pledged. He was saying he wasn't getting involved. Now he's pledged $40 million a month to Donald Trump to ensure that he's going to win that campaign. And there's a lot of people coming in saying we've had enough. Like, they're fed up with their country just being controlled. And I think a lot of people, whether they agree with Donald Trump or not, whether you
They're
think he's
still
going to
be controlled by him. Like, he's just got his other extremist views of the fucking.
I like the fact that he's not a
war and
politician.
stuff like that.
Like, do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
he's
most
not a-
politicians are trained like their whole life, a lot of them, to be politicians and stuff.
Yeah.
So everything's different. Whereas if you come in like Donald Trump, he's just a businessman who's like, I've had enough of this. I want to have a go at it. Mate, I don't agree with everything he does, etc. But I like the fact he's not a fucking politician.
100%, mate. I'm Team Trump, innit? Not necessarily, not him as a person. Not saying I think he's a good person. Everything he does is good. I just think if they manage to not just completely rig the election and he actually manages to get in, I feel like there's some hope that he will genuinely come in and end these wars that are going on. He will genuinely actually have an impact. You know, when you look at the data, he was by far I can't remember what it is, like 70 years, in terms of like data of what he's actually done, by far the best president, by far. And do you know who the worst is?
Obama.
Obama. In terms of
Apparently Obama didn't get much done.
No,
he had
but-
2 terms.
No, but in terms of killing, the amount of people he killed, the amount of wars that he started.
I thought
the amount of
Obama was
things-
pretty good.
Yeah, because
to
the
be honest.
mainstream
People
so
liked
good at
him, yeah.
the mainstream is so good at marketing. They've tried everything to cancel Donald Trump, and he's just getting stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, you feel like everyone in the world's dumb, but there's actually clearly like that. There's a lot of people that are smart, and they see through now the mainstream media. There's so many people that tune into podcasts, that listen to, the likes of, I don't know, Joe Rogan or Elon Musk on Twitter, or when there was Andrew Tate. There's so many of
They've
these
got
types
other
of
shit
people.
to talk about.
Patrick Bet
Russell Brand.
David, Russell Brand. There's so many people that are saying, fuck the mainstream media, I'll talk about what I want to talk about, in the same way we are now. Yeah, I just think that there's now so many people that do listen to, what's it called, alternatives to just the mainstream media, where there's not a direct narrative, where people actually will speak their mind. And so that's the only hope I feel like we have. People need to keep listening to these podcasts that hopefully don't get shut down, these people that don't get cancelled. But you got to think the other side, they're so powerful, they do anything to cancel you. They've tried so hard with, like, before Joe Rogan and stuff, Elon Musk, obviously Andrew Tate, Donald Trump, all these people that try and cancel you, they try to put you in prison, they try stage things on you. And then, as you see with like Donald Trump, they bloody try to kill you. Elon Musk kept tweeting when he came into Twitter and exposed half of the stuff that had been going on to do with the CIA being actually working for Twitter and etc. and the amount of stuff they was twisting and pushing the narratives. When he exposed that, every interview, every end of tweet, he kept saying, "By the way, I'm not going to kill myself. Like, I'm not going to kill myself," because he's feeling like.
He's good,
They're
yeah.
gonna
Do you
get
think
killed.
he's next? You think he's very outspoken?
He's very outspoken, and I think they've tried as well.
He has a
to
big
cancel
platform,
him.
like a huge platform.
Any of these people that speak their mind and speak truth, if you are someone that doesn't actually listen to any of their podcast or full interviews and just see snippets, all of them will say, "Oh, he's a bad person. He said this, he does this," because the mainstream media do such a good job of portraying these people as bad people. But if you listen to full interviews of most of these people, they're the intelligent ones. They're the actual clever ones. They're the ones that have built incredible businesses, which, as you know, really, you can't get to the top of business without being a smart, intelligent, good people person. You have to build connections. You don't just get there by being some evil man. You have to be able to build good connections, long-lasting relationships, and that speaks a lot more than these dodgy, corrupt politicians.
On
that
the
just
news
go
today
through
as well, there
that
was
way.
I saw the video going around, and there was like a police officer or ex-police officer, and he was doing some kind of trial or whatever, and they asked did the police, I can't remember the word for it, but like tarnish this person's name, or did the police tarnish, and he was like, no, the police don't. He was like, no, the police don't do
Slander.
that. The police don't do that. That's the secret services who do that. And then they cut it because it was live. It was on TV, and then they had to cut it straight away and go to something else. It's
No way.
Mate, you just jolted my memory. Do you know what the other thing was recently or last week? You know that thing where the policeman kicked that guy in the head?
Oh yeah.
But and they show again on mainstream. They showed the snippet of the guy on the floor looking helpless, and then a kick. Have you seen? I
I haven't seen the whole video, but I heard about
the
this.
full clip is literally he had just fell to the floor and he's kicked his head in. This guy came, attacked all the police, broke the nose of punched a female officer, split her nose open, broke it, gone to attack these other police officers. They've managed to scramble. He's then dropped to the floor. They've managed to get him to the floor, and then kind of like instantly he's booted the guy in the head. I was like, too right. If you go to, let's say in Mexico, when I was in Mexico, you would have to be the dumbest. Like, if you went and punched a police officer in Mexico and then they shot you, they would shoot you
they just
dead.
shoot you dead.
And if I was a passerby watching, I'd think, oh, too right, the dumb motherfucker.
100%.
Why did you just go and punch a Mexican police officer? You stupid.
That's respect. You've got to show them respect.
Show them
innit?
respect.
Yeah.
When
Shooting's a bit extreme, but
yeah, but you'd say, well, mate, you
Well,
know
you would
they're
say,
going to shoot you,
like,
and you've just got, if you know they're going to shoot you, and you just went and punched them in the face, so that's your fault. This guy's attacking, punches a female police officer, gives him a little kick in the head to teach him a lesson, and people are outraged.
deserved
Oh,
it,
you can't do
100%,
that. Da, 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 da. Again, it's the woke.
Have you not seen it?
Fuck
It's armed
these
police.
guys.
Yeah, it's armed police as well.
I'd have shot
I
him.
was talking about it with
I'd
a
have
police
shot him,
officer
mate.
this weekend, and he was like, that he shouldn't have kicked him in the head. Like, that's where it comes down to, and he's probably going to go to prison for it. Or
Yeah.
But then the long story obviously come out, and it's like,
I mean, it is. I mean,
extreme.
yeah. I think it is extreme. I don't think you
How-
should
how's
kick
it
someone
extreme?
while they're down on the floor.
Yeah, but he's only just dropped down, and he needs
did he
to
deserve
give
Yeah,
it?
it.
but
though?
if you-
Did he deserve it? From what we saw, not should he have done it though? It's did he deserve it? He deserved the fucking.
I didn't
He
see
broke
the
a
whole thing.
female's
But
nose.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
of course, yeah. Listen, like he
Was the
deserves.
Olympic guy from earlier.
Yeah.
He deserves a hiding, but maybe a bit more of a fair hiding where he's up on his feet and just smashing back.
The
in
armed
the face.
person's going to say though. I mean, the police officer's going to say, "Oh, look, like at the end of the day, he's trying to attack police officers. I'm an armed police officer. I've got a gun on me. If he attacks me and takes my gun in the airport, it's the airport, isn't it?
Yeah, I
Now
think
suddenly
so.
Now suddenly there's a situation. So like, fuck, that's what he's going to say.
I
guess.
just
Was
think,
there? I think there's a couple of riots on the back of that as well. Was there?
no, that was the stabbing thing. Oh, probably both.
I did
Probably
see something
both.
for that. Yeah, there was riots for that.
The thing is, overall, basically, our country's just becoming so soft, so soft. So
We say becoming. We've been like it's been. This has been said for the last 10 years.
yeah, but look at how extreme it is now.
I think you just hear more about it now though, because of social media. Everything goes around so quickly. If something happens like 10 minutes
Yeah.
ago, everyone knows about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
but
with
the social media part is the problem, where then people are reposting saying you can't do that. Oh, you know, let's stand up for these people. Let's
And
stand
also
up for
they
that.
censor all the shit as well. They censor a lot of stuff that they don't want you to
Yeah,
see.
we'd be
Yeah.
lucky if this podcast gets 10 views, mate, because they're probably
Censoring it.
censoring it.
Yeah.
But
Nah, you
if,
get-
if anyone is managing to listen to this, make sure to share it, send it around to your friends.
And we didn't
Drop-
kill ourselves.
Drop, yeah, we didn't kill ourselves. Yeah.
Shout out Elon.
And hit the subscribe button. Most of our podcasts, if this is your first podcast, most of our podcasts aren't like this. We usually talk about business, entrepreneurship, good, positive mindset stuff, gym, etc., etc. But we thought we're gonna have a rant today. We're gonna go off on one and just get it off our chest, get it off my chest.
But yeah, it's for you, this one.
This one's for me. I'm all worked up today. It's been hot in my office all week, and I'm hot and bothered. Harry, right, next step of the podcast, what we're going to do, so we've been introducing a few different, we've tested a few things with the podcast, haven't we? One of them was the whiteboards. A few quick fire questions. We might bang on whiteboards, we might not, it depends what the question is. Harry, Mr. Main Man Producer, is behind the cameras with a mic. He's got some, we've not heard of these yet. So, Harry, ask away. One more time, I'll show you my whiteboard. There we are. Excuse my handwriting.
It's upside down.
I can flip it, mate.
The UK should bring back the death penalty.
Oh shit, we've really gone off of business. But you know what? we haven't gone off of business. I'll tell you why. Because all of this stuff impacts our lives. All of this stuff impacts the economy. All of this impacts the millionaires leaving the country and the billionaires, which we've seen huge numbers leaving the UK. So net minus 9,500 in 2024. So all of this stuff's important to talk about as well. That's how I justify it. Ready?
3, 2, 1.
Oh shit.
You're the most controversial, so go for it, Joe.
So, yes, I think the UK should bring back the death penalty. I'll tell you why.
Eye for an eye, cheek for cheek.
I'll tell you why. I think there obviously needs to be strict rules around what type of crimes the death penalty is for. I'm not saying every criminal should get the death penalty. I'm not saying every case within a specific crime they should get the death penalty. There has to be clear-cut evidence. That guy that came and stabbed all of those kids the other day should get the death penalty 100%. He was there live in the flesh, seen stabbing these children. You should get the death penalty. And I'll tell you something that the Singapore Prime Minister or President, I don't know what they call him, said about when asked something similar. He said, because ultimately, if you bring back the death penalty over the next however many years, is there going to be some innocent lives potentially lost for setups
Yeah,
and whatever?
there
There will be. But how many innocent lives are you going to protect by being a country that is strict, that enforces the law, that has extreme levels of punishment? Because you will wipe out 90% of people even thinking about becoming a criminal, but even think about doing that when you actually enforce that by law. Now, when people go and do like what that guy done to those children, it's those children's lives lost. It's the teachers that were there. It's any of the other children that witnessed it. It's the parents. It's the sisters. It's the brothers. It impacts hundreds of lives, and they're the cases that happen more frequently, where it's vast numbers of people affected. Yes, one innocent life could get affected, or a few innocent lives, and yes, they have family and so on. But ultimately, it's still, if you did it in comparison, it's going to be absolutely nowhere nowhere near the same amount of innocent lives lost due to death penalty compared to, the criminals out there doing some of these horrific things. I only think it should be for extreme horrific things like taking someone's life.
And he's clearly very guilty. That's the person.
Exactly.
There's no question.
So why did you say no?
Else? Because let's say he gets killed in 5 years' time.
Yeah.
He's only served 5 years, and then he's out. His brain gone. He's not here anymore to suffer the pain. He needs to go through suffering. Right. So, yes, you need strict sentences, but he needs a life sentence. He is going to want to probably kill himself in the situation that he is in when he's in prison. However, being in prison, he won't be able to. He has to suffer. If he's 5 years, he's not going to suffer, is he? He suffers for 5 years and he's gone. He's not here anymore. So that person who's done that,
they could just kill him instantly.
They need to suffer. Yeah, but then they're put out their misery instantly. He's
Yeah.
not going to have a good quality of life now for the next however many years,
Yeah,
and you want him to experience that. You don't want to give him the satisfaction. He probably doesn't care if he's dead or not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
He
but
probably, he's probably like, fuck it, if I die, I die. And then that's the problem. That's what he wants. He probably wants to die. So why are you going to make his wishes come true?
yeah, but because I'd say that the trouble is here with the prisons, a life sentence half the time they're bloody out in 5
Well,
years.
yeah, life don't mean life over here.
That's the thing. So maybe if it was okay, we're
That's-
actually locking them away in
For life. Life
in a
should mean
horrific
life.
jail for a long time, torture them or something. Then yeah, maybe
You could do that. You could do the death penalty, but say that it's after 20 years. So you got to spend 20 years in prison and kill
Even
them, mate.
longer. Yeah, I'd say even
do you
longer.
know what would kill you? It's pardon the pun, but saying death penalty and we don't. You're just gonna get. It would just, you won't know when it's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? You don't know when it's going to happen.
That's basically I guess that's what happens.
So then you don't know when's your last day. You'll feel that would be a piece of shit. So it could be tomorrow. It could be
Yeah,
20
you just
years.
be put in solitary confinement for the rest of your life, and that's it. Like you should suffer.
Yeah, you should
for what you've done.
get
So
tortured or
if
something.
it's 5 years, then he ain't gonna suffer, is he? If he gets a death penalty, bang, he's gone.
Yeah.
No
But
suffering.
I feel like there's not enough room. They don't do that. The infrastructure cost of prisons, I'll just fucking kill them, get rid, on to the next.
The reason I said no is because I would just test them like animals instead. Test loads of like medicines and stuff on them. Like, I just think
That's
like,
actually very
they're basically
true.
animals
Yeah, you
anyway.
could do
So I
that.
think
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
especially like I know they don't get killed, but they should be killed. They should all test it like animals. I just think it's ridiculous. How come get like 2 years in prison, bruv?
Yeah,
Drug
we
dealers go to
should
prison
use
for like
their
10 years,
use their
20 years.
bodies and
Yeah.
their minds.
It's ridiculous.
That's actually a great idea.
On that note, they're letting
They're not
out-
wired properly though.
They're letting out
That's
prisoners at the second. Like, genuinely, there's the prisons are too crowded that there's no room left in the UK. They're starting to let out a lot of prisoners early. So if they've done, I think it's like if they've served 30% of their time and it wasn't for like murder or something, they're letting them out, a lot of them, because there's no room in the prisons. What a joke of a country.
They do they for years they've done like after
early.
you've served a certain amount of time, like you get like.
but
you go
this
out
is
on the
a whole
weekend
different
and then,
extreme. They're letting
Decap.
even on top of that, if they've just served a small percentage, they're letting them out.
Yeah.
Because they said there's no room left in prisons. Ridiculous. Build
Yeah,
some
it's
more
dumb.
prisons.
What's the next question,
just be
H
stricter.
man?
Go for it.
Rich people should pay more taxes. 3, 2, 1.
No. Thanks, though.
Said rich
What?
people
Yeah.
already
Yes.
pay more tax
Yeah, that's
because they
true.
do, man. That's why it's
Yeah.
percentage.
We need to actually say our thing, because some people might be listening.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
Jake said
I've gone yes.
yes. I said no with an exclamation mark as well. Thank you very much.
Basically, rich people already pay more tax because it's percentage wise. If you earn more
Yeah.
and you pay 20%, then you're already paying more tax, and then you got to pay corporation tax, VAT, all the stuff that's going to the government anyway. So like, we're already paying
Employers
more tax. Doesn't make
tax.
sense.
When you employ people, you pay employers tax. People don't understand that that's flipping expensive. You end up paying on top of people's salary with all the taxes you have to put towards. It's like 16% or something extra on their salary. Then on top of that, you pay.
That's the NI in
You
it.
do all the VAT. You're the tax man's little bitch to do all the CIS if you're in construction and pass that over.
Is that a tax? CIS.
Yeah, but for the people that you take on as self-employed, but you still have to deal with it, pass it over. So like essentially, you're doing a job for the tax man to ensure they're getting if you're a large company and you're making good money, significant money, yes, you get benefits, but the tax system actually is set up in quite a smart way. So rich people will be passing over significant tax, but for doing that job for the government and creating these jobs and making sure there's a load of tax to come their way, they themselves get some obviously benefits. Like with that, you get to claim it back and so on and so forth. But it's not to say that you're keeping the money flowing. As long as the money keeps flowing, then the tax is going to get stopped at every given opportunity. When you're buying things, when you're selling things, when you're employing people, it's only people that hold on to their money that why they don't, who they want tax out of. But ultimately, rich people do pay tax if they want to take it out of a company and just have it in their personal pocket. Yes. And then you will get stung with high tax.
The thing is, people, if like the UK and the government make the tax too high, people will leave. I saw 7.5 millionaires, 7,500 millionaires left the UK in the last year.
9,500.
Or 9,500, yeah, left the UK. Like,
no,
to other countries.
That's not it.
Recently, they've left as well because of the new private school tax.
No, it's not. That's minus 9,500 net migration. So as in, obviously, some people would have come here, from other countries.
Cool. Oh, so it's more.
So like maybe Russians or something. I don't know. Maybe they probably don't
not.
choose here. Yeah, bad example. But yeah, that's net. So there's even more than that have left. But obviously, some have come
because people work hard for their money. Like people say, "Oh, cool." They earn so much money, they should give more of it away. Why should they give more of it away?
And people don't understand what wealth is, right? Like Elon Musk does not have 200 billion sat in his bank account, right? So it's crazy. He's
probably got a few bill in his
literally.
But then most people,
account.
Not everyone, but most people that earn really, 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 really good money, they will give back. They will give back. Like all of us, like when we made it, we want to do charity stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
some don't know that, and that's the issue.
That's their choice.
Wait, yeah.
Why
are you saying yes?
Mine's more towards the ultra rich rather than your average Joe rich. I think once you got 10 million quid, then really, what more could you want to buy? Surely there's not much more that you want to buy.
About what you want to buy.
If it can go back into society, I mean, the only problem is the way the tax system works. If a tax system was efficient and you can actually see where the money's being spent, they give you some shitty tax report when you're on PAYE, which is fucking terrible. But if the tax system worked and it was the ultra rich, then I think yes, you should pay more taxes. Help us get in a better position.
Taxes are literally a scam. Places.
I don't think the system's set up for it, but should ultra rich people pay more tax if the tax
so how comes
system was more efficient?
How comes and it's not oils, by the way, is not the answer, because they actually, that's, if you look at their economy, that's not actually a big part of it now, right? Dubai,
yeah,
no tax. Yes, you could say a couple % on that, but it's basically no tax out there, right? How comes that's an million times more thriving than us? That's on an increase, we're on a decline, and our tax is still going up and up and up, and we do currently tax still significant numbers. They look at us, they laugh, they say
you work
the leaders
and you
there,
give away
the leaders
your
there
fucking
say
money.
what are, like, these Western countries have you fooled, it's a scam. Look at us, we don't have tax and we are thriving. Everyone here is rich, wealthy, the state is rich and wealthy, the roads get repaired, the healthcare, yes, you pay for it, but then it's
that's private,
good.
isn't it? Healthcare,
yeah, but still,
you'd rather pay for it. To be fair, the tax system needs to be in a way that you pay for the stuff that maybe you use. So if you use the schools, keep your money, but you pay for it. Like if you use the roads, keep your money, but then you pay your tax towards that. The tax system needs to be that you pay towards stuff that you're actually using. That'd probably be the best way to do it.
They do that on top of it as well, mate. They do that through your
road tax.
Yeah, road tax.
Yeah.
They do that through your national insurance. They do that through they do that for your council tax. They do that on your properties for your stamp duty. They do that on top of it's a scam.
Stamp duty is a joke. Like, so I've got to move house, already paid whatever, 10 to 20 grand stamp duty, and now if I want to move again, you have to pay it, and it's just straight loss, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's such a
mate, all of the whole tax thing is just one big scam. And then all they do is they send billions and billions and billions off to fund some war. Then every now and then they get caught out that the money has fed back to them somehow through a company, and it's in black and white, and then they just get away with it, and and that's literally where most of the taxes are going. The country's just set up in a terrible way in terms of the tax system. And the reason that the way it is set up for the wealthy people is because they understand that, and their friends and their donors and all the rest of it are playing the same tax game. They're not.
It's a game, isn't it?
You don't need it. And so if you're rich and you're wealthy and you've got business and you invest in properties and stuff, it makes sense with the system that there is loopholes, because the loopholes aren't to avoid tax. Loopholes actually still keep the economy moving and thriving. So
it's the middle class that suffers, right?
Yeah, it's the people that don't understand what tax is and the way to play the game. If you don't have a business, you're screwed. If you're employed, you just got to pay.
Just PAYE, that's it. The only way to get around it, if you do like an EIS scheme or VC, so out of straight to your pension, that's literally the only way you can get around it.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. You need to, if you're in business and then you can play the property game and stuff like that, you can move
group structure,
you can move your money around, you can offset things, you can protect your.
That's what I'm looking at doing at the minute, innit? Group structure. Yeah, so then if you've got cash in your business, you then move it up. So one of the companies for property. So then you don't. I was speaking to someone down the pub the other day, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm trying to get a property, and I'm just pulling money out to show that I earn more money." I'm like, "Why are you doing that?" Yeah. But I said, "Put it all back in. You don't need that money. If you draw it out, you'll pay the higher dividend tax rate, which is 33.75% on your personal. If it's over 50k, which because he's trying to get a property, he's trying to get that seen. Whereas you keep it in, and if you create a group structure, it might cost you a couple of grand, but then you can just move it from there to there. No, I don't think so.
If it's an investment one, you can do that. If it's your personal house, you can't.
No, of course, no. Company. But also in the same thing, maybe I think he's just doing it to make his wages look higher. But there's mortgage brokers out there that will look at your profits. So just keep your money in your company. Try and keep your money in. I'm liquidating some of my assets at the end of the year to put back into my company, because then automatically I save 33.75%. Because I've taken money out, and then I'm just going to put it back in for other cash that I've got in other things, because that's a guaranteed straight return on your money straight away. And then I will move it into a company that then actively invests in stocks and shares.
Yeah, and also any money you put into the company, you can have an agreement with yourself that you're going to pay an interest that has to be a fair interest rate. But right now, if it is, that could be 10% a year that you can then. So let's say I put 100 grand into the company, I can keep that 100 grand technically still owed to me and never let that drop down, and every year onwards I can pay myself like 10 grand being just as an interest payment. You do pay tax on that interest payment, but it's an efficient way to get money back out of the business if you've put money in. That's a way that
I don't know you can do that.
Yeah, so definitely that's only if you're going to put money in, but if you're putting money into the business, definitely do it so that you can then pay yourself interest. Because let's say you put 100 grand in and you say, I can take 30 grand out tax free now, but now you're only owed 70 grand. Whereas if it's 100 grand and you say I'm doing interest, you can keep that as 100 grand and take 10 grand every year. You'll pay tax on that, but you're still maintaining that 100 grand in the business.
That's a loophole.
They're not, that's the thing, these aren't loopholes, they're just things to... They're there. They're not trying to fix them. They're just trying to. They're there for good. Like they're there for rich people, and they're there for reason, and they're not going to go anywhere. Some things they're stopped, but then they just allow you to do something else. So that's why tax is so important. One of the most important things in business is to understand tax yourself, not an accountant, yourself. Because if you understand it, that's how you get truly rich and wealthy. And there will always be a way to reduce your tax and to keep that low. That's legit. That's allowed to happen. There will always be. Because like I said, that's how these governments are funded. That's how donors are funded. That's what they're doing. So they're never going to close everything up.
Man, it's important that you say you need to understand it yourself. Because like I've obviously had the issue with the recent tax accountant that I've used. They're okay at what they do, but they just literally agreed with everything that I said. Yeah. Because I'd looked at it, and I said, right, I think I need a group structure. You know, what does that look like? This is what I think it should be. Can you just confirm? Ask some other questions about other things as well. But that was the main part of it. Charged me $6,000 to basically say, yeah, you definitely need a group structure. So I'm in dispute with them at the minute still.
That's a joke.
And yeah, you need to know it yourself.
Harry. Next question, mate.
The UK is a better run country than the US.
Obviously, we've got some sort of bias because whichever way it goes, because we are only from the UK, and there's so I feel like I'm fairly educated on the US because I always have made an effort to stay up to date with it because I know that impacts us just in terms of investments, where markets are heading. It normally happens there and then it happens here. So I'm actually done a lot, but individual states, I know it as a wider concept, not necessarily like out there's all the individual states. Some of them are shambles, a mess. So
yeah, to be honest, I just said I couldn't say because I don't think without living there, like how can you judge it really?
Yeah,
like, we can judge it off.
It's hard. Yeah, you just go based on
3, 2, 1.
Couldn't say, but I would say the UK.
You'd say UK's better run than the US.
I equally don't. I
don't know.
I couldn't say. I did say no. I'll tell you why. The main reason why is okay. There's a lot of Americans that are fed up, especially right now. They're at a bit of tipping point. But to be honest, still with Americans, you still hear them so proud of their country. Really
patriotic.
They're so patriotic. They really want to get their country back in a good way. And they're so passionate about that. And there's still the American dream very, very much alive. They, as that millionaire migration map showed, there's still actually a positive amount of millionaires coming to the US, at like 3,400 or something. And so for me, you got to judge it off the people. The people there,
3,400
net positive new ones coming in.
That's not a lot, really. Got 300 million, isn't it?
Yeah, but new people coming to the States. It's quite hard to even go and live in the States, and that's new
I suppose
millionaires.
it probably turned away.
Not millionaires in the country. That's ones coming to the States. Okay. Migration. Ours is minus for our small countries minus 9,500. The only other country that was more than that's China with 15,000 negative. And look at the size of China, mate. So we're basically in the worst situation for that in the world by miles. But yeah, I'd say that. I'd say just because of the people and the mindset here, everyone is like, fuck the UK and I'm off. Fuck that. Whereas America's like, oh, we're in a terrible state, but like, long live America, let's go. Like here, they're not like, come on, let's get Great Britain back again. We're like, fuck this, I'm going to Dubai.
Yeah, it's very like the guys that seem to be wanting to get GB back together is obviously just like, it's portrayed as white.
So you got the NHS in the UK.
Yeah, but that's a piece of shit. That's going privatised.
That's going to be privatised.
That's going privatised 100%. That's a whole different topic. I was speaking to a GP in the sauna. He owns practices, multiple practices. Mate, just it was a long conversation, but yeah, literally.
Our private healthcare is still cheap. Like my private healthcare is £55 a month. Like if you're in the States, you got to be paying this ridiculous.
Yeah, but the NHS is going privatised.
Ridiculous
we won't have that in like 20 years.
No, but we got private medical at the minute, right? So I'm sure it'll be something along a similar lines.
Yeah.
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 Which is like 55. Let's say mine's £55 a month.
It's £55 because you can have the NHS option of being free, whereas when it's not free,
then it won't be 55
just
quid.
puts everything up. It's like train lines and all that jazz, isn't it?
Yeah, mate. I've heard the US. Yeah,
we're going to basically America. The funny thing is, like this guy that owns the practices, he said like now, if you're in the industry, you can see that now. That's exactly where it's like we're not there yet, but like we're there as in we've gone over the tipping point. And he said, what's crazy? He said he went to university with Richard Branson's daughter. I believe he said her name's Holly Branson. And he said she was talking, and he was a bit older, so this must have been, 15 years ago. And he said she was literally talking about this stuff back then. He said it's incredible, like that she could just see this from all those years ago. That's what you get for being Richard Branson's daughter.
But she's obviously here overseeing and overhearing probably conversations.
But from the top, but this was years ago. Yeah. And he's like, now it's all coming to
you're ahead of the curve, isn't it?
Head of the curve,
when you're done about the NHS and that, though, is like nurses. Like I don't know what the percentage is, but a huge percentage of like nurses, people that work in hospitals are agency staff, and because they're agency staff, obviously you got agencies, then you have recruitment companies, whatever, and they make a lot of money off of them. Whereas if they just paid the staff more, more people would want to join and be nurses.
Mate, I know a midwife. I might be getting these figures wrong. It was through an agency. So she was working there on the whatever they was on, 35k a year. She then went through an agency, worked at the same place, and was earning ridiculous money, like £500-600 a shift. No joke. Now she's gone to like Australia
because they need them. They ain't got a choice, isn't it?
Yeah. I was like, that's ridiculous. So there's all these complaints that they're not earning enough, and I don't think they are earning enough. But like you say, why are you then paying agencies 5 times their salary when
They're making a cut on top of that as well.
Yeah,
and they're making so they're probably having
it's a
to
broken system with that.
we're probably paying £1,000 a shift to those people when we could have actually just paid 3 people 300 and something quid a day. They'd be over the moon, very good money. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. A lot of
same.
as soon as that person as well that leaves their own hostel and comes back to the same hostel earning more, they're just going to tell all the other staff, and everyone's going to do the same.
Exactly
so.
that.
Yeah.
It's simple to solve knife crime in London. 3, 2, 1.
I was already out.
Yes.
But no, because it's not simple. But it's definitely not simple. But there's probably definitely more that can be done.
Jake put
No.
To try
The knife.
I put yes. Go on, boys.
No, of course it ain't easy. You get so just like people are just institutionalized, and people love the gang life. Like it's a movement. It's like a cult. Like people love the gang life. They love chasing after each other. People say they want to make it out. Some people don't. Some people like thrive off of the ego boost of being in that world. Like it's not easy to solve. And also, you have a knife in every kitchen, so you ain't gonna solve knife crime. You might be able to reduce it in terms of the gang stuff because there is some people there that are just doing it because their friends are doing it. But there's a lot of people there that do it because they love it.
Yeah, no, but that's because of it's a whole, they've been brought up that it's acceptable, etc. Because you didn't have this issue 100 years ago. So it's not just, some people love stabbing people. Yes, there were stabbings then, but overall, it's gotten out of control because...
Not they love stabbing people,
not
it's
stabbing,
that they
but that
love the
movement, that
gang
cult.
life.
Yeah, but so you need to get on top of that. That can be stopped. That wasn't around many years ago, and so it doesn't need to stay around for many years to come. It can be a section of time that gets solved, and the way to solve it is first of
the death
all,
penalty.
no, yeah, first of all, the whole government needs to. There's something they do in Japan. They believe in 100-year plans, 200-year plans, much bigger than themselves, long-term thinking. In this government, in this country, all they think about is the next 4 years that they're in power, 5 years. And then most of it is a year of just bullshitting to get in power. Don't do anything for 3 years, 4 years, and then a year of making a few changes to try and get in power again.
Yeah, that's it.
If we actually put a 25-year plan in place to near enough... When I say end knife crime, I don't mean there's never going to be a stabbing again. Of course there is in any country of the world. But a 25-year plan in place, how to solve knife crime. You start there, and you don't say, how can we reduce it next year? You sit the smart people round the table. You sit people round from the estates. You sit ex-gangsters. You try and get current gangsters, people that have stabbed it, people from prisons, plus smart people, a mixed community. You sit them round a table and you say, if we had 25 years to significantly reduce or near enough get rid of knife crime, how could we do it? And I guarantee then the thought process, okay, I've got an idea. Let's start at the schools. Let's start here, let's start, and you can work your way back to, okay, so what's the next step to try and start making a movement?
It's running it like a business, I suppose, isn't it?
Running it like a business, a long-term business.
You're going to get so many people that just aren't on board, and that you get that with your business as well. You get the vision, you get the task. People ain't on board.
Anyone other than the people that are genuinely doing the stabbing are on board on knife crime. It's not something like, it's not one of those movements that there's a huge split in the country. Most people, other than the people that actually
most people want to stop it.
Want to stop it, obviously.
Yeah, 99.9% of the population do want to stop.
Yeah, so you are going to have most people on board with the plan if you can just think a little bit bigger and show how. So, if
can we reduce knife crime? Yes. Can we stop knife crime?
Yeah, but stop.
No.
You're not going to stop anything ever in the world because you'll still get the occasional ones, but you can significantly reduce it. You also, first of all, you need a 25-year plan. Then you need to advertise what this plan is. The plan needs to not be one stupid prime minister. It needs to be a group of good people, a good mix of people that have come together. Put a full plan in place, targeting every single section from schools, the streets, the local community, the music, everything that impacts it. And you need a plan in place for all of it. You need to have people believe that in 25 years, that can happen. And then they'll be willing to start taking that next step forward because they're working towards a goal, even if it is 25 years from now. It's not a next year we're going to just we're going to pledge $1 billion to knife crime.
They done the bins, didn't they? They done like where you can just drop your knife off. I mean, that I know exactly that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like a half-hearted effort.
You also need,
really
back to okay, maybe, first of all, if you stab someone and you kill him, death penalty, yes. If you caught carrying a knife or you stab someone and maybe they didn't die, then, mate, you should still get minimum 20 years. No, you're out in 30% because the prisons are full. You need 20 years inside.
You know, the hardest thing is there is people, though, that there is 100% people out there that carry a knife because they're scared of being
100%.
So, like, it's just like a vicious cycle. Obviously, they're probably,
Yeah.
I don't know, you say they're in the wrong groups, but sometimes you are kind of born into it. It's not an excuse,
Yeah.
but, like, people use it.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, there's some people can't actually help being, the way that they are, born where they are, and being brought up around it, and that just becomes the norm. You know,
Americans
we're
think
so
we're
lucky
nuts.
that we've never had to experience that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but the thing is, right, this is the thing. We don't stick to the things that we pledge. We said in the country before about if you get caught with over a certain blade, you'll go prison instantly. 4 or 5 years down the line, I believe they didn't put anyone in prison, like, on this new...
That was when the zombie knife came out, innit?
Yeah, but they don't back it up. If you genuinely said, if you get caught with a knife, you are going to prison for 20 years and you're not getting out a minute before, I guarantee you sentence people for 2 years doing that, making a case of them, guarantee you instantly you're half it by 50%, because now these so-called gangsters that want to do it and might get away with it, or they might go prison, come out in a couple of years.
That's the minority still, isn't it?
Now that's the majority. The minority is the crazy ones that say, I don't care if I go prison for life. Most of them aren't willing to go prison for life. They want to be a gangster.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, so you can literally get rid of it just by being strict and saying you're going to prison for life if you're caught, for 20 years if you're caught with it. And it's death penalty or prison for absolute life if you kill someone with it. That will significantly reduce it. And the rest, if you're rapping about it in songs, you should go prison. Why should you be allowed to put that on the bloody... out there in the radio and stuff? It's ridiculous. You stop it at the music level, you stop it at all these influences. If you're talking about it, you should get penalised. If you're carrying one, you should go there for a long time. And if you actually stab someone, you should get life in prison. That will significantly 95% reduce knife crime and make the streets a lot safer.
Maybe you should start a campaign.
Yeah, I should, mate. Me for Prime Minister.
For the fucking prison,
Nah, not
mate.
for Prime
There's
Minister,
not-
for stopping knife crime.
Yeah, but it's
there's not
everything,
enough
mate.
room in
I
prisons,
have
is there? That's what
strong
they're saying.
feelings around homelessness. Like this thing again, 25-year plan. You can dramatically reduce homelessness in this country. They've got billions of pounds again that they send off and they waste on stupid things. You put good money with smart people for 25 years, you can solve most of these problems, 100%. And you need intelligent people leading the country. You need intelligent people around them. And then you need a community from all different walks of life and backgrounds to sit around a table. You listen to every single one of them. And together you plot a plan for 25 years. Then you pledge whichever money's needed to do that. And you execute. You broadcast it on the TV. You make sure people buy in. You listen to people. You set up an app where people, when you have these different ideas and you're not sure which direction to go, let people actually vote yes, no, I believe this, give additional feedback. You use AI to generate all of the data and give suggestions as well. You can solve a lot of problems in this country, but you just need smart leadership.
None of those PMs.
None of these Keir Starmer wankers.
You might not even need your boards.
Okay.
Chickens are not dangerous animals.
Fuck the chickens. I'm not in the mood today, mate. Don't get me started. Chickens are evil. If you don't know what we talk about, go and watch the catch-up podcast I spoke about 2 episodes ago. My great-grand got killed by a chicken.
How?
She lived on a farm in Ireland, and it pecked her, and then she died, innit? Let's end it there. If this is your first episode, we are normally more positive, I promise. So tune into the next one.
Fucking mate, you're depressing.
I'm going to be in a better mood next time. I'm going to bring some good positive energy. I'm always up. I'm always happy. So today I just had to get a few things off the chest. Remember, men are men, women are women. See you next time.
Right, I'm going to my bay. I'll see you later.
Laters.